I said this back then, and I think it's becoming true. Y'all made it, we made it, they made it cool to be a chess geek.
Yeah.
And then that was going to be the key, is when it was going to be cool and we can put energy and effort into being a chess player, as much effort as we put into football or basketball. And when you turn that dynamic around, and like, yeah, I'm a proud chess player, I'm a proud chess geek.
Heck yeah.
And there's like a multitude of skills within chess.
Oh yeah.
It's just a game that gives you so many.
Yeah, it people look at it and go, oh, chess?
To me, that was also a very important element, is abiding by the rules of the game.
Right. And learning how to be defeated and learning from your mistakes. And that's a big part of chess. It's a great tool for learning to make decisions, for life skills. People look at it and go, oh, chess? I don't know how to play it. I would tell them, you know what? Have the kid, you come and I'll let the kids teach you.
Yes.
Because that's more valuable. More kids, more families should get involved in chess.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Teevee Show Podcast. Today, we're talking to Miss Pena.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
She was my daughter's teacher I was going to say grade school, like I'm really old. Elementary school. And I still struggle. In fact, I had to actually look to see what your real name was on Facebook.
That's okay.
Yolanda Pena, correct?
Yes.
Miss Yolanda Pena. Mm-hmm. Before I say anything, if you wouldn't mind saying a little bit about yourself, a short intro as to who you are.
Okay, sure. Yolanda Pena. I am an educator, and I have been in education for 30 years. I started in Irving ISD, and then I came over to Dallas. And in Dallas is where I met Mr. Aguirre and his children, his two daughters, and they played in my chess club, which was a big revelation. I never knew I was going to have a chess club. I was doing board games. That's what it was. Yeah.
So the focus of today's conversation will be to get to know Miss Pena, Yolanda. But also to share the story of how, and I've shared this story on other pieces of content, and how the girls and I accidentally started a chess club. Well, we wouldn't have been able to do it without Miss Pena. Miss Pena's involvement, encouragement, and motivation throughout the process. We wanted to really share that story because chess for me has been just monumental. To this day, it's something that I still talk to with the girls when it comes to different life lessons. Not because they ever became chess champions, they didn't, but it was just such a useful tool that I feel like any parent, any father could really benefit from it. So I wanted to share our stories because there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of small stories embedded in this on why chess just hit, and it became such a hit with the kids, and it took off. How much it took off is actually incredibly hard to believe, but I can't wait to share that story, so stay tuned.
Okay, yeah.
So let's start at the beginning. Miss Pena, you were running a game club. How often was that running, and when?
I was after school club, and it was just a game club, board games. I did not want the kids to be involved in any technology. I wanted them to be able
even then
at that time. Yeah, because technology was taking off, and that's what all the kids wanted to do. So. And
that was what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, like maybe 2012, I want to say.
12 years ago. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, about 2012. And so I offered to have that extracurricular activity after school, and it took off. I had a lot of kids interested in coming. And then before too long, somebody started planting these little seeds and saying, hey, did you know that you could be competing competitively in tournaments, chess tournaments? I'm like, what?
Before we get there.
Okay.
You had this game club, and for me, it was on a Tuesday.
Okay.
Was it?
It might have been. I believe
it was a Tuesday.
Okay.
And the reason I'm pretty certain was because for me, I was freshly divorced.
Okay.
A couple years out, and I was doing this business.
Okay.
And I was looking, and the reason that I quit was, and we started the business, was to be involved in the girls' lives and do more stuff. Okay. So they told me about a game club.
Yeah.
Then that, hey, you can come by. And I'm like, okay, great. It's another reason for me another excuse to see them
Get involved.
Yeah. Right. So
Gotcha.
I started to come out, and I didn't know what to do. Obviously, I'm just there to be present for them. Kids are playing, they're doing all types of things.
Right.
Playing all, because you have 4 or 5 different kinds of games easily.
Yeah.
Checkers included.
Yeah, we had Scrabble, Monopoly, any kind of board games. I just encouraged them to play
and
those.
The girls, because we had played chess, my girls. So I have 2 daughters. In case you're new to the podcast, they must have been 7 and 5, 8 and 6 at the time.
They were young.
Yeah.
I remember Anna was
Babies.
really young.
She was a baby.
Yeah.
They
They were just little things. Yeah.
But we had played chess in the house. I had a little chess set, and we tinkered with it. A plastic, cheap set. And they brought me the board and said, "Hey, Dad, here's the chess set. Let's play chess." And they knew just enough. We just knew the basics. And that's where I guess a couple of the kids started kind of hovering around. Do you remember any part of this story?
Not really. I remember going, well, chess, I know a little bit about it. I didn't have a whole lot of experience.
Yeah. I think we ended up teaching a little class.
Yeah, we ended up.
Because the kids started coming around.
Yeah.
This is like that first day. And I don't know at what point it happened that after that, I came back to another game day at that point, after school program. And you had 4, 5, 6 sets.
Yeah, all of a sudden, somebody purchased all these sets for me. And I'm like, wow, look at this. And it's still a board game. So it was within the boundaries of what I was doing.
It fulfilled that. And who bought those for you?
I think PTA. I think PTA helped me out immensely. Now, who knew that was going to happen? That wasn't my intent, but it did work out.
Yes.
It was.
How long before do you think, if you can recall, before it became, it changed? It was game club.
It was just game club.
The chess club.
Yeah. All of a sudden, then people started saying, you can compete. There are circuits.
Yes.
Tournaments going on out there where you would go from different schools would host tournaments. So it was small. It was in its baby stage.
We were babies. And
it was in its baby stage. And I was a baby at it too. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing here.
We had to teach them. It became a big job, and because we had to learn more about the game.
Yes.
And I only had so much.
Yeah.
And I remember that we were scrambling because the kids are eager to absorb all the information and learn moves. So they started, I think, YouTubing and learning different little killer moves.
Yeah.
The 4-step move, or what do they call it?
Yeah, that's right. Scholar's mate.
See, I didn't even know that. You've come to...
I've come a long way. I've learned right alongside the kids. And I love it so much.
So let's continue there, rather.
Okay.
Why did you fall in love with it?
Why did I fall in love with it? Because there's so much critical thinking involved. And I looked at it because I wanted to present it to parents. And I said, well, what am I going to say to them? Well, there's algebraic notation. You teach the kids one-to-one correspondence. There's math involved. I'm not a math person. I was like, really? There's math involved? So I could finally see how it was related to math, because you have notations and critical thinking and decision making and thinking ahead. Strategy, vision. Teaching the kids, you need to sit on your hands because there's a rule about moving a piece. Putting your hands on a piece. Yeah.
That one became and I think it's universal in chess. If you touch it, you move it.
Yeah.
Or else somebody will beat you up. Kids were like,
yeah.
To me, that was also a very important element, is abiding by the rules of the game.
Right.
Like, these are the rules, and there is no fudging the rules.
Exactly. So that was something else that we have to do in life, is follow rules.
Follow rules and be able to stay in bounds and be creative, I think, within those rules, because there's hundreds of thousands of possibilities at any given moment. So it's like
crazy amount of rules in chess, and every piece has a rule. You have to know those, or you can't play successfully.
Correct. Well, the program started to grow, and now we started to travel with to find opportunities to compete. because what better way to learn and get better, and us even get better as teachers, than actually traveling.
Yeah.
So you actually found those. How did you end up finding venues or locations?
Somehow I got into that circuit of schools that were hosting. And so I would sign our kids up for it. And, we'd get on the school bus on a Saturday morning, bright and early, and bounce down the road to the school and spend the whole day there. I mean, at that time, we were playing 5 rounds of chess. And that was,
is that a lot?
That's a lot. That's a lot. It's brain draining. The kids were like passed out on the way home.
There's a book by, he's a world-class chess master, The Art of Learning. You heard
I haven't
the book?
heard of that one.
I think the story about the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer is based on his story.
Oh, okay.
And I remember reading it, and I'm rereading it right now. One of the things he said, he was a world a chess champion. What do they call it when they
masters?
A master,
they become
chess
masters.
master.
Yeah,
he's a chess master. And after that, he started to look for other things to get into because chess was everything and all he knew since he was a child.
Right.
He got into some type of martial art, and I forget what it was. I was pushing hands, something.
Okay.
And he became a black belt at
Wow.
that.
Okay.
Because the what he figured out is what he had learned in chess, the skill sets and learning and manipulating and creating angles.
Yeah.
Applied there. But what I really wanted to say there is that he said something. He said he realized that the physical intensity that it would take to actually fight was very similar to the physical intensity it took to do chess, to compete, because it does take a toll on the body. So he started to actually implement drills in between matches to kind of get himself amped up.
Okay.
Because the physical aspect is still there. It's just more mental, but it's still exhausting.
Yes, it's exhausting. It is.
Poor kids were wasted. I remember when they were little. Because it would be a whole thing.
And learning how to be defeated and learning from your mistakes. And that's big part of chess because, we looked at motivational videos and it said, if you're going to lose, it's okay because
you're probably going to lose a lot in chess before you become really good.
Yeah, some kids took to it immediately. Other kids, it took more work. So I saw that they were working harder than others. Other kids are like, oh, I got this.
Some of the, to your point, I remember seeing numerous kids, including mine, cry.
Oh, yeah.
The first losses, which came fast.
Yeah.
Because up until then, they had competed inside their little world.
Right.
And there was a ceiling to the skill that we had. And then when they went out, and they got crushed by some kids that obviously knew a lot more, and then them walking out in tears.
Yeah, they were defeated.
And that lesson needed to be
learned. It does need to be learned. You got to learn from your mistakes, and that's why we need to notate. So that way we can go back and figure out what exactly.
That's right. You can reproduce the game.
Yeah, right. And I knew the beauty of notation.
Yes.
So there's so much involved.
There's so much.
But I love it, and we love to learn, and I love to learn.
And that's what I was going to ask you. How did it take off? Because my girls ended up leaving.
Yeah.
And
how did it take off?
We moved away. I think we did it 4 or 5 years before we left.
Okay.
Which was crazy. We had started to become pretty good. We got trophies. We got medals.
Yeah. We were doing great. Well, what happened is I was assigned to another school. I was working 2 schools. So I love chess. And that school did not have a chess club. So I was like, okay, guess what? We're going to get another chess club going here.
Oh, my God.
But Con was way better. The first school where Anna and Faye were,
yes.
That school was eating chess up, and they were doing very, very well. They were competing on this online program, and they won.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, my God, these kids are they're like loving it so much.
I would have to, I have a hunch that there was something about the culture already, that there was years of culture and reputation there.
Yeah, we built that up.
By the time the newer kids came on board 4 or 5 years later, it's like they were eager to participate and go all in.
Yeah, and they were so competitive against each other within the chess club. I was like, my God, he said, they were telling me.
That needs to be the case.
Yeah, that needed to be the case. And they were eating it up. And the other team, They were new,
Yeah.
so they were not as great as that
Yeah.
first team. But I had them both going. I had both teams going.
You didn't have enough, so you had to go create a second one.
I know. I was like, we need a chess club at this school too. And I remember the days when we would go to tournaments, and I was like, okay, well, how am I going to
Yes.
handle
How
this?
did you? That was going to be my next question. How did you manage that?
I was at one
Who are
school.
you representing?
And then the other school, I would get parents to come and, wait with the kids for the bus. And then that bus would come pick us up, and then we'd all be together.
Okay.
But it was wild.
Who did you root for? Did they ever compete against each other?
Sometimes they
Yeah.
did.
Did you
Yeah,
handle that?
sometimes they did. And I'm like, well, we'll see who comes out the best.
I support you both.
Yeah. I'm your coach, and I'm coaching both of you all. So
When you pitched it to the new school,
mhm.
was it challenging? Was it an easy sell? Was it a hard sell?
Oh no, it was easy. People signed up right away. I got the parents on board, and I was like, yeah, everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved that program. It was my baby. It was my baby from the first school, the second school, and then both schools together. I was just like,
You were the chess
rocking
teacher.
it. I loved it.
I had to ask, like, how does it feel to? I feel like now it's part of your identity. You're not just like, hey, I happen to be teaching a chess club.
I didn't know this was going to be part of my identity, but it is. It really is. And I represent DISD Chess anytime they want a spokesperson.
Mm-hmm.
And also Chess Kid, the online program that we use. It's so great.
Okay. So that's the tool that parents could use to
Yes,
learn.
we use it. Yeah. And I highly recommend it because it's very kid friendly, and it's safe, by the way. It's great for, you don't have to worry about predators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's useful.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And we put the kids on the program because they can do it at home, or they can do it on their parents' phone. It's convenient, it's technology. What the heck?
How long do you think it would take? It took the new school before they got their traction and the wheels.
Oh my gosh. You went to my school and you see how big that chess club was?
So I followed up with
Wow.
Miss Pena, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, because it came to me like, oh, I should interview Miss Pena. Duh. Because I talk about chess a lot. The lessons are universal and timeless. And since I talk about it, like, what I could bring on Miss Pena and how we grew the program and how it initiated and where she took it. And I reached out and she said, hey, you should come check out the club.
Yeah.
So I did. I went to the school. What is it?
In the afternoon, after school. It was maybe a Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to the school. I was honored that I was asked that she was okay with it. And I did. I visited them. It was insane to believe. It was insane to walk into a room full of kids. And then you had 2 assistants,
Mm-hmm.
and you said that one of them was going to take over the program.
Mm-hmm.
You literally were like the last couple of months of the school year already.
Right.
But just to see the ripple effects, the ongoing impact of our initial little idea,
of what we started.
and see them excited.
Mm-hmm.
And you have obviously fleshed out the rules and the format and how the program runs, who runs it. It was so neat to witness.
Yeah. And it even grew, because at one time it was only like 3rd through 5th grade that could.
Oh, that's right. You said
only
this.
3rd through 5th grade. Well, not anymore. It's like so big. It includes 3rd through 5th, and then 6th through 12, and now this year K through 2.
Wow.
I know. DISD blew it out of the water. Student Activities took it over, and they provide transportation.
Right.
They provide T-shirts. They provide food, breakfast and lunch for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and think of the cost of all that, because it's expensive to run that program. I mean,
for that many kids.
Think
to
of
feed them.
the buses.
Yeah.
Just the bus alone.
So tell me about that. When did that start? What is the program?
That started, well, when we started, it was only that small circuit where we were just going to certain schools.
And each school was self-funded. Everybody had
And
to raise
PTA would do that.
Yes, and try to do what they could.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they, but we had to pay registration fees.
Parents had to come out of pocket, which is fine. I
Yeah,
didn't mind, obviously.
And I don't know if we had to pay for the buses. I don't remember that part.
I don't think we had buses, ma'am. We all drove there.
Oh, we all drove there?
Yes.
I don't
All the
remember.
parents drove their kids. We didn't have buses.
We didn't have buses at that time.
Yes.
Well, now we have buses. Okay, but when did DISD take that over?
And what was the movement behind that?
Student activities. They just took on all these different activities, academic and, real sports. All this stuff came from student activities, but I don't remember exactly when it all happened. But they took off a lot of the burden of the parents having to pay for registration fees, which is like $12. And then a bus, those are expensive things.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
Not paying a human being to move this big thing with all these other
Yeah, so we could take like 10
individuals.
Kids at a time.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And I'm glad to see that the city took that on. I know that I mean, we were just playing, but it was a challenge. It was a chore. But I can't help but feel like at some point or another, I know that I knew some players in that arena, Miss Coy, for example.
Coy. Yes.
That I know she was telling me that she was talking to the district. Now, I haven't spoken to her in years, but I'm sure she had a part in that and actually trying to sell the idea of chess.
She was one of our main competitors.
Yes. And she taught me something, in which I've seen if you watch any chess movie. But having a person like yourself, like Miss Coy, no matter where you're at in the city, whether it be inner city, suburbs, or wherever, as long as you have someone that's committed to teaching you, like the kids are going to learn. The kids are eager to learn.
Yeah, they are.
And they are like, so she went from one school that she developed this incredible team, and they were all killers. Like they were competing and they were doing like next level competing.
Yeah.
I were talking to her about it.
Advanced.
Like, yes, advanced. Like they were placing and they had, place. I don't even know that it was all graded, but placement in the national charts or whatnot.
Oh, she might have been doing, when you get ratings.
Yes, ratings. Thank you.
Get ratings.
This is how out of touch I am. Like, but it's a huge world and opportunity. But her kids were competing at that level. Yeah. And those types of competitions where they were being ranked.
Yeah, ranked. That's the word.
That was like, what's the word? Struggling here. But then she moved to another school.
Yeah.
And then she recreated it again.
Yeah, she's a dynamic coach.
Yes.
Wow.
But there were all inner city Hispanic kids that until they got exposure to it who knows what would have happened. I mean, this became an integral thing for them. Some, I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, got scholarships or got continue to move on.
Mr. Ravenel's son, Stephen, he went to UNT.
Yeah, like so many opportunities that come out of it. But these kids will love it if they're introduced to it at a young enough age. It's just the access. I guess that's the word I was looking for. Access to tools, to games, to resources.
Right. Yeah.
And they take off. Like, you've been doing this so long. What have you seen in terms of the impact on the children?
Well, I see them, they're still involved. And sometimes when they leave the elementary, then they get into it in the middle schools. And so when we were going to tournaments, I'd see the kids. I was like, this is great. I'm so glad to see you. Yes. You're still competing. Come and help us out.
Yes.
Come on. I need you to come over here.
You're selling, recruiting.
Yeah.
That is what you're good at.
Yeah.
That is another one.
Yeah. Recruiting. And we just wanted to keep, but it like you said, it took on its own life.
Yes.
After a while, people started seeing, and I would have kids come up to me in the hallway when I was teaching and say, I want to be in chess club. I want to be in chess club. And, we were so already like way in the end of the season. I said, next year, we'll sign you up next year. Definitely.
Did you ever have any of the, so my kids are 20 and 18.
Yeah. Wow.
Have you had any, yes, but
I can't believe it.
Have you had any of those kids that were from that first batch, first few years, come back and visit you?
Yes, I have.
Because I know that I remember a couple that were like, they'd carry their chess board, their roll mat in their backpack, and they're ready to throw down any given moment.
Chess
so they
nerds.
seemed like that was going to, that was going to be something
and that was okay. And that was okay.
Absolutely.
Because we're not all cut out to be athletes.
And I said this back then, and I think it's becoming true. Y'all made it. We made it. They made it cool to be a chess geek.
Yeah.
And then that was going to be the key, is when it was going to be cool and we can put energy and effort into being a chess player as much effort as we put into football or basketball. And when you turn that dynamic around, and like, yeah, I'm a proud chess player, I'm a proud chess geek.
Yeah. I mean, it's a team. It's another, you're representing your school, by the way, because you got to go out there and go against all these schools. And we want to be at the top. We want to be the best.
And then there's a team strategy, right?
Yes, and then you can compete as a team, and you can get so many points so that you can get a trophy.
Yeah, you just reminded me, because they're like, okay, Anna, we need you to at least have a draw.
Yeah, I would always tell them, if you can't do anything else, ask for a draw. If it looks that bad, ask for a draw. It's 0.5 versus 0 points.
So it became that aspect of the strategy also became key, knowing where you were at as a team.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. And just, it's been a catalyst. It's been a positive force in my life. And I know it is for the kids. So it just kind of mushroomed. So
it's just an overwhelming feeling. Like for me, it goes back to that first day we show up.
Yeah.
They bring me the board. I'm like, oh, and then everybody's like, okay, this piece does this. But from that, obviously, a bunch of other people got addicted and caught the virus.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess because these schools were, operating on their own, and maybe then somebody took it back. I don't know who the spokesperson was. Maybe
the word at some point or another, it had to have reached a tipping point where like these schools are doing something amazing.
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah,
what if
we took it on?
Yes.
Yeah.
And funded it and exposed more kids to it.
And oh my gosh, the tournaments are huge.
So tell me about that, because when we went, I was blown away by the amount of kids playing chess at these little tournaments.
Yeah. Okay.
And
now,
what does it look like?
Now they're like they have 2 gyms, maybe, these schools, I think, at Barack Obama. And so they're using like one gym for one particular grade level, and the other one for the other grade level. But there's like thousands of kids. There's thousands, and so many different schools are participating.
Yes.
Lots of schools. So the competition's tough.
It's got to be, but that's great, because then it raises the skill set of everyone else. That's why I love the competition. It's steel sharpens steel. Like you have to compete.
Yeah, that's exactly.
To get better.
Yeah. And then, some of the kids they'll cross over and they'll play against each other. And I see Khan there with Mr. Vergara, and I'll grab some of his kids and we'll compete against each other. I said, come over here and share some of your secrets.
Yeah.
So
it's this giving attitude.
Yeah. And peer tutoring.
Yeah.
Peer tutoring. Yeah. And it's so fun to see everybody and be together. The tournaments are a great time to work with the kids, because there's not enough time after school. There never is enough time.
Right. The kids that excel are probably the most.
They're going home and working. Yeah. And if they beat me, they're like, oh, I beat the teacher.
So that day when I visited you, there was a young man who's quiet and confident, and he's playing various people as they're doing their rounds.
Yeah.
And he was crushing them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to play you. Can I play you? And he's like, yes. And he beat me.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that.
He beat me. But he did say. He did say, oh, you had me scared.
Oh.
He did tell me that I gave him a moment of anxiety, and he thought he was actually going to lose. Because to me, it's a game, and I'm pretty aggressive, and I just try anything, and I don't have a strategy. So other than to like really mess with their head. And I did, but then he cornered me really good, and I was blown away by him.
Yeah. And they are using YouTube videos. They'll tell me, I'm practicing at home, and
there's a lot of information out there.
I'm using Chess Kid, because on Chess Kid you can compete against the robots. There's robots.
Right.
I love that. I will compete against the robots just for fun, just to see what's going on. And they will go home and do that. And they get harder. The robots start out real easy, and
that's good.
And they
smart.
They get more.
That's a great program.
Difficult as you go up. So yeah, it's a great program. It's a great program.
What's the name of it again?
ChessKid.com.
Chess Kid. So it's publicly available?
Yes.
Okay. So not just for schools.
Not just for schools.
Okay, fantastic.
But DISD bought a whole bunch of memberships.
Oh.
And provided that for everybody.
A bunch of licenses. Okay.
Yeah, for the resources.
Yes. Go DISD.
Yeah, DISD
I'm
is
so proud
really kicking butt.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that
I'm
they
very
invested.
proud of them. I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud that I've been part of that program. It's been such a catalyst for me, such a great learning for me and the kids.
So you said you retired.
Yeah.
30 years in teaching.
Yes.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. You've made a huge impact on my kids' lives.
Oh,
and
I know.
that aspect, that in that context, it's I said to this day we talk about chess. We use chess metaphors a lot.
Awesome.
What's next for you?
Well, I am hearing from the director of the chess program, and they're asking me if I want to come and help out. And oh, yes, that's an emphatic yes, I'm ready.
Oh.
I mean, I'm retired, but I can still do
Obviously.
other things. Yeah. I miss my chess club.
Oh,
I miss them.
you missed your chess.
I miss them. And I told the chess coach that took over my position,
Right.
let me know. I'll come and volunteer. I will be there. So
Have you got the call yet?
Not yet.
When did they get started?
They're going to get, I don't know if she starts as early as I do, but I started my program really fast because DISD begins the tournaments like September, October.
So how many competitions? Is it a monthly thing? Is it a quarterly thing?
Oh, they have like 4 competitions. They have competitions, 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring.
And what comes out of it? What are the rewards? What are the awards?
Oh, yeah. Well, we find out, we can figure out who's the highest in the chess club. We will do our own mini tournaments. We were doing that. And the kids were, what was nice about that is they were learning to read data. And I love that because, data's data. I'm not real crazy about data. But with chess, they were looking at who was scoring the most points. And we would record it as they would have a win. We would record who would win.
Yes.
So that we could see who's the highest in the club and who we would take to
Is this inside? This is internally?
This is internally.
Okay.
And this way we could determine who would be going to the tournaments.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you had a tournament for the tournament
Yes.
because you have so many kids in the
Yes.
tournament. So how many were you able to take?
10, I think 10 per grade level.
So
like 10 kinder through second and 10 3 through 5 and 10 6th graders.
Okay.
So, but they had separate tournaments. Like K through 5 had their own tournament, and then the 6th graders.
How many kids did you have as a whole in a given school year?
Oh, well, this last school year was the highest.
Which was?
We had like 45 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because it grew by leaps and bounds. That's why we had so many coaches. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I can
Can't
do
do
this
that.
by myself anymore.
I
I was doing it all by myself. And then I realized, that I was going to retire. And I'm like, I need to get somebody in here.
That's a good plan. That's a really good plan.
Yeah, somebody to take over the reins. So
Did you have trouble finding that person?
no, her daughter was in the chess club as well. And so she was already helping me. The mom was already helping me. So
Was she the one running it this last time when I was there? Okay. I was really just watching them run the program.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, we were doing peer tutoring,
Yes.
teachers.
Yes.
We would give them a little badge. You're a teacher today. You teach.
You really, really fleshed out the program.
We fleshed it out together. It was a group effort. I mean, you and the other PTA lady helped me get started. You bought bought all the materials, and
so I was recalling that attendance fluctuated, right? In those first few years, I remember there was moments when there was like 6 or 8 kids in the room.
Yeah.
And my 2, so that's like.
Yeah.
But it was still successful for me. It was really, and then this is one thing I think about a lot, is like I looked forward to it because it was another opportunity to hang out with them.
Yeah, and do something positive.
And do some, instill some new skills. And there's like a multitude of skills within chess.
Oh yeah,
It's just a game that gives you so many.
Yeah, it people look at it and go, "Oh, chess? I don't know how to play it." I would tell them, you know what? Have the kid, you come and I'll let the kids teach you.
Yes.
Because that's more valuable. You're the one who gave me that little saying that says, when one teaches, 2 learn. And I was like, he gave me that. And I've been abiding by that. It's true.
I to this day, if I learn something new, I try to find someone, usually my girlfriend. God bless her soul. I run to her and like, all right, this is what I just read. So
Yeah.
try to force myself to teach it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works.
It
And it makes sense. It makes total sense.
You have to process and compute. And
yeah. So if they're teaching, we even had a night, parent night, where we brought the parents in. And we had the kids teaching the parents how to play.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
Band. So Anna became a big band nerd.
Oh, okay, that's
and she
great.
was the
drum major.
She was the drum major the last couple of years.
Awesome.
And at the beginning of the year, or when they're doing their trials and their big push for training during the summer.
Yeah.
There's a session where the parents come out after a week where they're drilling them, and then there's a segment where they teach the parents how to do this or how to do and where they march, and
that's fun.
And it's I mean, as a parent, it's really thrilling and then also nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But
to get involved,
but to have them teach you is incredibly beneficial.
Share that knowledge.
And there's just this beauty in it to me. Like, my kid is teaching me something. She's like, you do this.
Yeah.
So in chess, I can only imagine poor parents are like,
Yeah, that was very, very rewarding. The other coach said, we should have a parent night. And I said, yes, we should. We really should. So I know that chess is in good hands. I know it is. It was hard to give it up. I love it so much.
Was that a consideration for not quitting?
Yes. What am I doing? I built this program up here.
You did. 10 years plus?
Yeah, I was in DISD for a long time, 13 years, I think. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Pena.
Oh, you're welcome.
I appreciate you. Is there anything you would like to say as it relates to chess, teaching, kids, anything that maybe I haven't asked that you'd like to share? Any thoughts?
I'm just like, I think that more kids, more families should get involved in chess. I think it's a great tool for learning to make decisions, for life skills. It's a way to interact with your child. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it, because you can learn together.
Thank you for that, because it's a simple but complicated game. And it's incredibly, obviously, intense, because you're processing like multiple moves and what's she thinking, what's he. One of my tricks, people ask me how I taught them. I'm like, well, I taught them just the basic moves, but how it became more of a thing is because of peer pressure. Oh, yeah. Positive peer pressure. We ended up making a game out of it and a club out of it. So now they wanted to teach each other. They wanted to beat each other. So it became something they wanted to do together. It became easy to do. But also, I had the roll-up chess mat and a little Ziploc of all the pieces. And we'd go to the park.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of parks actually have the chessboard there as well.
Yeah.
So on Sundays we would walk to the park, which was up the street, on my weekends, and we'd go play, have our sandwiches, play basketball, fun. Do various other things. But
sounds like fun.
There's little things like that, and it was never intense to where we were trying to crush each other, but it was enough to where it was just kind of motivated them. It kept their minds active.
Yeah, and it's definitely exercising your brain. It's one way of doing that.
Very much exercising your brain. After an intense game, a good 30, 45-minute game, I wouldn't be surprised if adults would be out of breath, because it's just that intense.
I know. I sat down with one of the coaches and she says, this is giving me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to figure out, how am I going to beat this person? And
that, I think, that was one of the big lessons early on for me, is like, or realizations, is that you feel like you're actually going to lose the game of life or something. You're like, oh no, this decision I make right now, like, it's just a move. Just make a move. Come on, let's keep it going.
Yeah. Right. So I guess that's what I would say to parents is, get in there. Don't be afraid. Get your feet wet. Won't hurt you.
Just learn the basics and see if the kid gets inspired. It's something that I truly believe in. And I'm glad that you came on. I really appreciate you taking the
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
Took us a few months to get this together.
Yeah, I know. It did.
But it's something I am eager to put out promptly because I talk about it so much. And what better way who better to talk about it than with someone who's heavily more invested than I am in it now.
And I'm going to go back. I'm not, just because I'm retired doesn't mean I can't be in the chess program. I'm
absolutely not.
Definitely
it is the kind of game you can play till you're old and continue.
Yeah.
Like I've seen really old people that are like,
right.
So that I definitely want to bring it back up, and especially now since I have a grandson. Over the next few years, start like getting them the chess pieces so you can become aware of them at least.
You know what's cool is it becomes a family affair.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of parents. Well, I've had families. I end up having families. I had a really smart chess person. He came in from another school, and then he would come to chess club, and so would his sister.
Wow.
His sister was in kindergarten, and she would come in, and she knew how to play. And I said, "How do you know how to play?" She says, "Oh, well, my mom taught me how to play." So then the mom knew how to play. So I was like, "I need your mom.
I need help.
I need. Yeah. Tell your mom to come and hang out with us during chess club and practice with the kids."
I love it.
Yeah. So they're a chess family. So there are chess families out there.
Oh God, I know you. Definitely have seen that. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking me. This was a great thing to talk about chess. You know how much I love chess.
Yes. So this will be used for promotional purposes to make sure to get more people invested in what's possible with chess. We probably said chess 100 times already.
Yeah.
Definitely if it's something you're looking to do with your children, I do talk a lot with parents, single fathers, divorced fathers, anyone, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
If you're looking to do something unique and something that will benefit them in the long term, pick up chess. Mm-hmm. Put the Game Boy down, put the whatever down, like challenge yourself as a parent to go out and get a chessboard, learn enough to teach them. You'll be surprised.
Or let them teach you.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
That's valuable.
There's value
according
in
to Mr. Geary, and he's right.
I'm always right.
When one teaches to learn, please.
Yes.
That's
Thank
perfect.
you. As I've been saying that for years, and to hear you
yes
share it back.
I've told people that. I've told the coaches. So now one parent told me this, and I think it stands true. And so I keep repeating it.
So with that, we leave you. When one teaches to learn, so teach your kid so they can teach you. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to the Teevee Show Podcast. My name is Teevee.
And Pena.
Miss Pena. I was going to let you say. I knew you were Pena. Miss Yolanda Pena. Thank you. Have a great day. Make sure to leave a review, leave a like, share this, do whatever it is that you internet people do, you crazy people. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.